Alright, so this is going to be a full review of the Razer Viper V3 Pro. I know the lighting is super bad right now. There's nothing I can do about that. It's just, I'm just using random lights right now. But yeah, so I'm not going to make this review too long because I already did an initial impressions on this. But yeah, so like and sub, comment, all that stuff. Use my codes in the description. This mouse comes in at $160, and just like every other Razer mouse, and that's obviously what I paid for it. Obviously, white or black, it comes in 55 grams, 8,000 hertz, and it comes with the 8,000 hertz receiver, Razer V3 opticals, and their new Focus Gen 2 Focus Pro Generation 2 sensor. Focus, yeah, that's exactly what it's called. And yeah, so also an updated shape, which we'll get into. First thing I'm going to start with is what's in the box. I already went over this in my initial impressions. You get your cable, dongle, grips, which suck. I've already used these so many times. They're decent at best. And your manual. And yeah, that's really it. You don't get feet. You don't get anything like that, which is unfortunate, but oh well. So the first thing that I noticed is that this is the best quality Razer mouse I have ever used in my life, perhaps the best quality mouse I've ever used in general. This mouse has zero wobble on any buttons. It's got zero play, zero rattle, zero everything. This is the best built mouse I've ever used. It's got the perfect amount of pre-travel, post-travel. These are also the best optical switches I've ever used. They feel very different from the V2 Pro opticals. They feel much, much, much lighter. And I will give you a sound test now, and then we'll get into the shape and all that stuff. So left and right click, scroll wheel, side buttons. All right, so the right and left click, as I said, has almost zero play, a tiny bit of post travel, a little bit of pre-travel, but it's just the perfect amount. They feel identical, the exact same. They're super light, super crispy, and they're very good for optical clicks. The side buttons also have almost zero pre-travel, zero post-travel, and they're pretty light. They're not as good as like Final Mouse side buttons or something, but they're decent and they're pretty big. Although I wish they're a little bit too forward in my opinion, just because the shape is pretty big, which we'll go over. But if they just had them back a little bit maybe, then they would have been perfect. And the scroll wheel, super, you can definitely feel the steps. It is definitely a defined scroll wheel, and the click is decently spammable. It is a little bit heavy, but you should have no problems. And it's not rattly or anything like that. The sensor obviously is great. It is in the middle. You have your power and DPI here. You do have to install Synapse to put it to 8,000 hertz, but this is the 8,000 hertz compatible dongle, and there's no problems. You do have motion sync with this 8,000 hertz, which 3395s do not have, so you will get very good performance. And I will tell you that 8,000 hertz on this mouse feels much better than 8,000 hertz on other mice or 4,000 hertz on other mice. It just feels smoother. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just Razer has the best implementation of sensors or polling rate in general, just in general. It always feels better. The coating of this mouse is also quite different. It's not that PBT kind of coating that you're kind of used to on Razer mice. It's basically just a matte standard coating, and then there is a little bit of texture on the Razer logo here. 55 grams. It's weight balanced perfectly. Battery life, do get about a day on 8,000 hertz is what I'd say, and then they say up to 95 hours on 1,000 hertz, but I have not tested that. The feet are good. They are huge. I'm using this on a Saturn Pro, so it is pretty slow, but they're decent. There's no real need to replace them, but you could replace them if you want to, especially with like dots or something. But yeah, there is a light on the dongle that will show. It'll show your battery percentage when you get it on. Mine's on green right now, so that's pretty cool. And now let's talk about the shape, the most important thing. So this is not the Razer Viper shape. This is a completely different shape. And the best way I'll explain this to you, and here are the dimensions right here. 127 millimeters by 63.9 millimeters by 39.9 millimeters tall. And the best way I'll explain the shape to you is a Final Mouse Air 58 if it was not as curved in the back. A straight Air 58. That is exactly what it is. A straight Final Mouse Air 58. That's exactly what it is. It's literally what it is. Or an FK1 Plus without the back and without the front. That's what it is. It is much better shape to me than the Superlight. It is also a very agreeable shape. It's a perfect claw shape, honestly. I have smaller hands, and this mouse still fits me. This is a shape that I think they made to suit basically everyone. Like the Superlight was made to suit everybody, but I think Razer did a much better job because you can use this shape in every grip. If you have bigger hands, you can easily fingertip this mouse because there's no hump at the back. But the hump in the middle is so big that you can claw it. It's a huge hump. And you can definitely probably palm this as well just because of how big the hump is. But yeah, I mean, great mouse. Honestly, there's zero problems with it. Like, the quality is just perfect on it. This is easily the best mouse on the market. And this is my new main. I actually sold my Ultralight X because of how good this mouse was. So yeah, the cable, super thick, but you have to use that so that 8000 hertz works. And if they do make a Death Adder of this, I will probably buy that, and that will probably be my main if it's good, because I'm looking for good ergo mice to buy. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I'm going to talk about in this review, because there's not really too much to talk about, honestly. It's just the best mouse on the market. Great sensor implementation, great wireless, great click latency, all that stuff. Shape is great, pretty agreeable with everybody. Clicks, best optical clicks on the market, best click implementation for opticals. There's nothing wrong with this mouse. It is basically perfect. Besides, the side buttons are a little bit too forward, and the shape is definitely a little bit big. But yeah, that's me, and peace.